Hey guys, welcome to CryptoCast. I am your host, SF Frankie, or just Frankie. Tonight we have a special guest, a bit of a crypto DeFi celebrity, Justin Wu, also known as Hackerpreneur on Twitter. Justin builds events that are centered around DeFi and NFTs. His most noteworthy is Decentralcon, which took place just last year in Miami. Tonight he's going to talk about that, the future of the NFT market, and the future of DeFi. So without further ado, here's our interview. All right, guys. Today's episode of CryptoCast, we have Justin Wu, also known as Hackerpreneur. Am I saying that right, Justin?
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. My handle is Hackerpreneur, hacking entrepreneurship.
All right, so you're a hacking entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, I guess it was before I got into Web3 and crypto. I was doing a lot of marketing, and that ended up being called growth hacking. And what that is basically combining software automation, software development, and data analytics, data science, and marketing all together to really build automated mass scale marketing and product marketing as well too. And for me, I've just been always a community builder, marketer. I've hosted different conferences and events in the past around marketing, and then I got into crypto around 2015.
So prior to getting into crypto, were you doing this professionally? Was it a freelance thing? What kind of companies were you doing this growth hacking for?
Yeah, I've always been a freelance. I did found a few startups in the past as well too, around marketing automation back in LA as well too. And but for me, I started out actually getting into internet marketing when I was around maybe like 12 or 13, and I'm 32
Oh,
now. So I got in pretty early actually.
oh, you've been out this a while.
Yeah, I found the internet pretty early, thanks to like kind of like I think like Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, really Magic cards. I
Okay.
started selling a lot of cards early online on Craigslist and eBay.
So if you were selling them on Craigslist, like would people come to meet you in a parking lot and some 12-year-old kid be selling them Pokemon cards?
I was actually going out and buying big lots from other people that just
Okay.
wanted to get rid of cards, and then from there, I just especially back then, I couldn't buy retail, but my parents taught me about like bulk buying, basically, where I could just take like $100 I saved and just go to eBay or Craigslist and find some deals, and then somebody just wanted to offload maybe like $200-300 worth of cards for like 100 or whatever they wanted, and I just essentially went there and traded and resold it, whether it be to my friends or even back online on eBay.
Oh, that's rad. So you had, I'm guessing, quite a bit of money as a little kid.
Yeah, so I started building that up, and then I started to realize that I could build a little forum. I learned how to set up like one of those, build bulletin boards forums.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, V Bulletin and all those good stuff. And I created my own forum where people can just kind of trade amongst each other and also just talk about different stuff about each of the different games, board games, Warhammer, all these other like really nerdy stuff back then. And uh, then what really got me down into internet marketing though is when I started putting Google ads on my website and started making internet money, I guess.
And how old are you when you came up with this idea? This is wild, man.
Man, this has had to be like middle school. So yeah. Like I honestly, I had my dad's help. Like initially, like he's the one that helped me register for these accounts, get my bank account and AdSense accounts up and running. But once I started putting ads on the site, I was getting a few dollars per impression or 1,000 impressions. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Well, if the game is just driving more traffic, then I can earn more internet bucks. Then it's like it's pretty amazing. Then that
Oh
led me down
man.
the whole like rabbit hole of like making internet money essentially.
Yeah, shit. I thought I was a hustler as a kid, but you got me you got me blown out. So you said you got into crypto early. Are we talking like pre 2016?
Yeah, actually, if I think about it, it was whenever Dogecoin started. So that's probably like 2013 and 14, I think, around that time. It's because I learned that when I was playing a lot of video games, a lot of my friends on Steam, they started to mine Dogecoin and Litecoin, anything that was script mining basically, and they're getting coins essentially. Then I started seeing people trade these coins for like some of the Dota skins and other skins that were trading at that time on the Steam marketplace, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? Then my friend kind of told me about Bitcoin before, but he was coming in with some very anarchist talk, which I was really like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm not going to listen to this guy, you know. But he's like, this can overthrow money and governments as you know it. You know that crazy talk back then.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then also too, I had a whole bunch of friends that were Silk Road buyers, so like they were like, they were probably
Yeah.
like Bitcoin rich back then, but I didn't really get too into that yet at that time. But that's when I started to really learn about Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And I saw Bitcoin, when it was like $100, and the altcoins started popping out, like Dogecoin, Litecoin, Primecoin, WorldCoin, Namecoin, all these like Feathercoin. Even those are like the OG like altcoins and crap coins.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wrote up Bitcoin up to 1,000. Got wrecked by Mount Gox, and
Ooh.
oh yeah, got and then overextended myself by spending a lot on miners that were mining all these altcoins, and obviously it all crashed. So I got left
Yeah.
holding the bag of
Ooh.
really crappy AMD graphics cards.
Yeah, I got into Bitcoin before the whole Mt. Gox fiasco. I didn't know what to do with it. I had some, I think I sold some for a small profit. It's probably enough that would be on the orders of $1 million by now, but I don't even try and think about that. But
Yep.
let's bring it to the present. So you host an event called Decentral. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Decentral was a conference that we hosted during Art Basel in Miami. I'd say it's one of the largest Web3 events. We had over 5,000 people attend. Just to give like perspective and numbers, like another big NFT event would be NFT NYC. They did 5,500, and that's like their fourth year. This is our first year.
Oh
And also
wow.
given, that it's such a crazy time with Omicron just announced right before our conference.
Yeah.
World kind of travel kind of like blundered, but we still were able to pull off those numbers, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. We
That's
we
that's
really had a huge event that focused on not just NFTs, though, all things decentralized. That's what we call it, Decentral. We brought in 20 different chains represented. So we had DeFi, Metaverse, NFTs, and everything in between.
wow. So did you have like artists and creators there too, or was it just people
Yeah,
representing? Oh, okay. So you were kind of bringing the community together with the artist, putting a face to the name, because I know a lot of
we
this stuff is so like anonymous, and
yeah.
doxing is a big deal. KYC, all of that. A lot of the builders are anonymous, and then we as investors also do it anonymously. And at the same time, there's this funny push pull for like, oh, the dead's got to be doxxed, but the whole point of decentralization is kind of removing your identity from it all. So it's a funny conundrum we find ourselves in. But it's awesome that you're able to bring all of them together in person in one place.
Yeah, and that's really what we're about. We saw this really early on that the people who are DeFi farmer, DeFi degens, they don't know anything what's going on in the JPEG degen land with NFTs and everything else. Vice versa, we see a lot of the NFT. We went to like a few of the NFT conferences out there, and granted, they're bringing a whole new fresh blood of traders, buyers, even that I haven't ever recognized before. And these people have been around only for like 6 months, and they don't really even know about too much about protocols, farming, or what's going on behind the tech. And so we wanted to bring both of those worlds together. And then another point too is we didn't want to have like a single chain maxi event as well. And so we
Mhm.
invited over 20 protocols, 20 different layer one, layer twos, all your big ones from Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, Cosmos, Luna, etc. And we brought them all together in one roof in one place, and that's kind of like a new difference that we've kind of sought to differentiate ourselves versus like a single maxi event, like a pure Ethereum, pure Bitcoin. event, and that just allowed us to bring all the different perspectives all in one roof, learn together. You had your anarchists, you had your anons, you had different traders, you had your artists. We even had UFC fighter Anthony Pettis come through. We had Jim Jones, rapper, also perform. We had Joseph Lubin. So it was this whole like kind of mix of different crowds that we're all coming together just to learn from each other and collab.
So take me through like a day there where there, I've never been to a conference myself of any sort. I assume there's like booths representing, each.
Yeah.
Is that
So
is then there's you got performers and
yeah, we had a whole mixed bag of everything. We actually had four different stages. So the reason we did that, we had a DeFi stage, we had an NFT stage, we had a Metaverse dome. So it was a 360 dome with 360 projection inside of it. And then we also had a workshop stage where people were learning about DeFi law, NFT accounting, etc. So it's really there for like longer sessions and more instructional as well. In terms of like the area too, we had exhibition halls as well too. So we had over 100 plus booths, categorized in different areas as well too. Whether it be we had a whole digital fashion, metaverse fashion corner. We had probably 10 plus companies in that. That's like your artifacts. That's your um, Exclusibles, Red DAO, and all these other companies there. Luxo.
oh
Then
wow.
you had your video games. We had over 15 plus play to earn and games represented. We had different rows for different protocols. And yeah, a whole mix of different interactive booths as well too. Some photo booths, AR, VR booths, and even like four different NFT galleries as well too. Like there's three different groups that came in and did their sub gallery, like the Graph, Hashed, the Korea Fund, and one other group. And then we also hosted our own gallery that was curated as well, that brought in a rotating artist each couple hours as well too. So it was a whole different mix of things going on. So it's much more interactive than your typical like crypto conference that's out there.
That's wild, man. So I assume this is something you continue to do. How long did this all take to put together? Is there a big team involved? Is it, just you? Where did it all start?
Yeah, I wish it was just me. No, we definitely have a team of 10 plus. We put this together about 6 months ago, but like I'm not new to building out events and communities
Sure.
in the space. I've been actually hosting events, crypto conferences since 2017.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been hosting like Seattle DevCon, largest Seattle blockchain conference, blockchain bridge in San Francisco. We did that. That was an enterprise focused event. We took over the Nasdaq for institutional events. I also hosted the first E3 blockchain gaming stage around 2019, where we had Immutable X, Polygon, Guys on Chain, Atari, and many others there. But that's was super early on for NFTs. Nobody really cared.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, before COVID and everything, and whether it be before the bear market and during the bear market, was hosting developer focused events to large conferences. COVID hit, and then we switched to full online. And so I hosted DeFiSummit.com and NFTCon, which were online conferences that I did earlier in the year. And that had about 10,000 attendees each.
So basically, that was taking those two offline, putting them in person, and combining and getting both those communities together. That's DecentralCon.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
Very cool.
that was very intentional. We did DeFi Summit earlier in the year, and then NFT Con, and then we just started to slam both of those together in one place in person.
Yeah. So I'm one of those guys that I'm only on one side of things. I'm on the DeFi side. I don't know anything about NFTs, but it looks like I really should start paying attention. Um,
It's a crazy
2022,
world.
2022 is the year of NFTs, would you say?
Yeah, I have to say, no matter even if it's a bear market, the fact that Coinbase NFT is about to turn up, Mastercard's getting in, allowing you to purchase NFTs without gift cards, without crypto. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter just allowed PFP verifications as well too. we're just getting started. And as more brands and bigger brands come into the place, they don't really care about, there's no bear market to them because their brand affinity, like a Prada and Gucci, there is no bear market for them. It's always
Yeah.
luxury season and high value season for
Yeah, I'm a Prada and Gucci aficionado myself, so
them.
maybe they'll get some NFTs that I can throw money at. What do you see? Do you think we're in a bear market right now, or is it just a
I,
fad? Or
Well, I think it depends on you. I don't really do too much TA. I always follow the fundamentals and just like focus my following on the industry and what's being developed. That's why I host these conferences and also have been working in the blockchain business side of things since 2017. So, I think that obviously what's different now compared to what we saw in 2017, and I've experienced two crashes. I did the Mt. Gox crash and then also the ICO crash in 2017-18
ooh,
era as well. But each time it's getting bigger and bigger, and the difference though that I see is multiple folds. I see that there's a lot more chains. Back then it was just Ethereum and all the dubbed Ethereum killers, which produced nothing, and
uh,
Bitcoin. We only had Tether back in 2017 as a stablecoin. Now we have a lot of choices from US Terra to USDC,
cool. Yeah,
Magic Mims, and all the stuff. Um, the only problem that I do see now, though, is that through DeFi and a few of these other protocols, some things are getting over leveraged. Some things
a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, and you can see it like take effect, especially once the market and prices start sliding, it starts sharply like dropping even further, just because there's so much liquidations happening on all
yeah.
across the board.
I
Like just
actually
look
got
what happened later in
liquidated.
the year, right?
I got liquidated myself the other
Oh
day. I
shit!
I just did like a really small test on Abracadabra,
Oh
and I
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
forgot about it. And I checked it the other day because I had read the
It,
news of all these liquidations, and pop, there it was. So yeah, it's they're going after everyone right now. It's just you can't hide from it.
yeah, and so that's why I think that it could be seen as an overextension, as everything is just was over leveraged and propped up, especially with some of the DeFi degen, like the Abracadabra degen box and all these
Yeah,
other stuff that's going on, right? Like that's just like um, was making everybody like overextended in degen and thinking up only. But once things started to drop drastically, things started liquidating, then it becomes a crazy like house of cards topple effect that comes down. But again, I think that the difference now is that there's so much stable coins and there's a lot of people in those stable coins, and you can still earn yield in those stable coins. So you're constantly growing, right? And so I think there's a lot more liquidity just chilling on the sidelines, buying dips, buying good opportunities, re-entering, getting into new farms that we didn't see otherwise previously. So people didn't have to exit, an OTC or other thing. They can just go through DeFi and just chill on like Curve, Compound, or what Aave, Anchor protocol to just continue to grow their stables and then rebuy the dips and eat it back up.
yeah. I think people maybe got a little too addicted to these insane APYs we've been seeing. But if you think about it, something like Terra giving 20% on stablecoins is insane. Compare that
Yeah,
to any bank and any quote unquote real world financial investment that really carries little to no risk, and just that it's unheard of, and it's something only possible in DeFi right now. Um,
exactly.
what do you see coming up for 2022? I mean, obviously NFTs.
Hmm.
It's kind of node season right now. Um, what
Yes.
are your predictions? I know
Yeah.
I don't I'm another guy who doesn't follow too much TA. I don't think it really has a place in DeFi with how quickly things move.
Yeah.
It's just way too volatile to even try and predict it a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
DeFi
give me
has
your
its own
thoughts.
little. Yeah. So based on what I know, I think that Q1 to Q2, we'll see it's going to be Cosmos season. You're going to see Cosmos, and you can see right now still Cosmos is one of the only coins that took the least amount of hits, and all the coins in that ecosystem, as well as Osmosis. our osmosis just chilling kind of near its high as well too. Like my portfolio was held up literally by osmosis, and some of the coins actually hit all-time high just like yesterday. And we're in a really bad market right now, which makes
Yeah.
me even more bullish of the ecosystem. And there's a lot of reasons for that, which I'll dive into a little bit later. But Cosmos has been something that's been in development for very long. It's been very bad at value capture, and they're going to fix a lot of that. So they're introducing a lot of airdrops that have been happening, and these airdrops have been producing anywhere from like $2,000 to $5,000 per airdrop, which is
Really?
insane. Even Luna didn't produce these grade of airdrops. And the cool thing about the Cosmos ecosystem is that every coin is a layer one, and obviously it's internet blockchain, so it's taking Polkadot's vision in a different way, like of a multi-chain world, and just execute it. I think that Polkadot is also an interesting alternative, but Polkadot, based on like my following on all the projects there, and I've invested a lot of projects in Polkadot. Polkadot is heavy tech, smaller community, and it is the usability is way behind. I think it's going to take another year plus before we see Polkadot take flight, and it might just miss this current run right now. So I think that Cosmos is going to be big. Phantom obviously has been pulling a lot of people into the full degen with Andre and Daniel
Hmm.
going in that direction. But the only problem with that though is that Daniel's projects, almost all of them got vaporized through like
Yeah.
time, and they're very degen, and obviously he doesn't have full control of it, but it has like left the bad taste in some people's mouths. But at the same time, I think that they're crazy brilliant people, both even Andre, and they're just rapidly innovating. But you just got to keep up watching what's going on there. But I think that Phantom, because it's so degen and it has its TVL is just constantly exploding, and people are understanding that DeFi, like you could do some crazy DeFi stuff on Phantom. I think
Hmm.
it's stealing a lot of thunder from a lot of uh, Ethereum dApps that we're going to launch on other EVM compatible platforms, or like EVM ready, like Avalanche, Polygon, and all these other protocols. People are going to be wanting to launch on Phantom first because of the liquidity incentives, and bonuses as well too. So I'm expecting to see some more cool stuff come out from Q1 and Q2 from Phantom, and that's what I'm watching.
Yeah.
That's on like
Def-
the DeFi side really. And underlying all that, I think Luna and UST is just going to keep popping off. Even if though what I'm seeing though, the only problem still right now is that all the other Luna coins inside the ecosystem are just dying. It's a dump culture. Everybody gets the tokens, farms it, and then dumps it back for more Luna because Luna is just doing so well.
hmm.
um, it's a little bit different because Cosmos, everybody's actually getting those airdrops, and a lot of people are staking it, and those APYs are higher as well too, and people are still not like really dumping. It's a whole different just mentality, or people are just like staking. It's a staking culture. But I think that I hope that there are going to be more Luna projects. But if not, still the best product of Luna is US Terra, and I
Yeah.
think that US Terra is in the bear market. We just saw it print like 300-400 million dollars more UST as everybody is fleeing to stables. Well, one of the best decentralized stables is obviously US Terra. So people are jumping into that, and that just means more Lunas can be burnt. A massive amount of supply is being burnt every single day at the moment, and I would just say keep track of that, and that will continue to move forward in Q1 to Q2 as more dApps turn online. US Terra continues to go multi-chain, deploying more Terra across all the different chains, and it will go hand to hand again with Cosmos. Cosmos DeFi isn't even here yet, and so once Terra turns online on Cosmos DeFi, UST will be the stablecoin of choice for all the farms on Cosmos, which is a ton of like 200 plus layer ones in that ecosystem as well too. So I'm excited and bullish on that, and that's just like on the DeFi side.
What are you most excited for on the NFT side?
Yeah, NFTs. We're starting to see Coinbase marketplace that hasn't turned online yet, but the pre-registrations blow past OpenSea significantly. I think that another competitor, Looks Rare, has been super interesting with the rev share model We'll have to see how much people will stay instead of wash trading on there. But we'll see. OpenSea is still a growing. They're hitting their growing pains, and they're making a
Hmm.
lot of new hires and new funding. So hopefully they fix and improve their experience. But I experienced some negative stuff on OpenSea. So I think it's ripe for more competitors that are coming across different angles. But I think that the big inflection point will be probably Coinbase NFTs. And then we also see Samsung getting into the NFT marketplace game, StockX now. So everybody will probably have their own NFT play just to host sales, drops, earn pass-through revenue as an extra marketplace. And so, yeah, I think I see that as being kind of the next inflection point.
Yeah,
Um,
they seem to be everywhere. I mean, Twitter just started with their
mhm.
PFPs. I got a notification on my phone from the Adidas app saying that they're doing some sort of NFT project. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. So
Yeah, with Prada, Adidas
I'm
and Prada,
I'm
and
in.
Adidas with but the Bored Apes as well.
Get some Yeezy NFTs.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
I would too. Put them next to my shoes.
Yeah.
How about you give me an NFT with a pair of
Or
350?
give me a Supreme Brick NFT. There you go.
That'll be 100,000 ether.
Yeah, yeah. So I see that as continuing to grow, and we saw the Artifact got bought out from Nike, and they haven't done anything yet. So that's about to
Yeah,
turn up as well too. So I'm super long on Artifact just because of the backing of that, and it's still super early on. It's only like barely 2 months old for Artifact, but the team is just executing a ton. So looking out for that. And I'm sure there's a lot more surprises of new brands that we haven't seen before interlacing into that. And yeah, we'll have to see. NFTs is taking over the world by storm. In my opinion, it's getting into DAOs, it's getting into music, it's getting into real estate. So there's a lot of interesting angles and plays that have yet to be discovered. But I do think that NFTs are 2017 waves. Like, if anybody announced an NFT project now, we already seen like how slow people have taken to build stuff. Like, if you found a metaverse or game that just started their IDO and fundraise, they might get an alpha probably 2-3 years from the day they announce, if even. Like, we just see that with all the other like games with like Dapper Labs and Flow and all these other guys. Like, they've been around since like 2017, 18, 19, and it took them how long to just launch NBA Top Shots, right?
yeah,
And that's a well funded company. Same with like Blankos with Mythical Games. Those guys raised like 30 mil plus, but their games are still in like an alpha or just released in beta as well too. So uh, that's what I'm seeing as a reality. So if you see any games right now, I think that everybody's so caught up in this like metaverse hype, and everybody's selling metaverse land with no metaverse that's actually live.
yeah. I've
Um,
seen that. That's insane.
it's insane, and
The
and it
rates they're
doesn't.
going for it's
Land
these
land
games
is
are
like
just
the
an
new.
idea.
It is. And land is like
Yeah.
the new IDO, like hype. Like, literally, people are just saying land, 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 just because they see land prices are skyrocketing on like Decentralcon and Sandbox, right? But
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't even tell you how much yield you get. And once the yield is revealed and it's actually not producing a lot, then the price could plummet. But people are just looking for the speculation and flip of illiquid land assets right now, or NFTs, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I'm most excited about when NFTs start to cross over into the quote unquote real world. The use case for them, I
Oh yeah,
think going forward, replacing things like home deeds, titles, getting into the insurance market, things like that. Like this whole idea of a decentralized ledger of receipts and a database that doesn't exist in any one place is the future. And it's cool that we're getting all this hype now with the 8 pictures and you know brands like Adidas and Prada adopting it somewhat. But once it gets into that real world, uh, real estate and things like that, that's when it's really going to take off. So for me, I'm looking
I
for those
agree.
companies that are targeting that market. We're not there yet. It's definitely a long play,
Yeah.
but I think whoever finds those companies that make it, that's where you're going to make the most gains.
Yeah, and I'd say that's the same with it. It would be for both DeFi and NFTs to get to that use case, real world use case, or real world, finance, whether it be through crowdsourcing, a DAO or equity crowdfunding for real estate properties and getting a year yield payout. So there's a lot of regulation that still needs to catch up, but also too a lot more of the mature companies that actually have those business plugs and connections and the infrastructure to handle the trust and those custodies of all those assets for real world stuff. It's still not here yet, and but they're starting to learn about it, and we need those killer DApps to come out. But I agree, like that's still a couple years down the road line, I think.
If you were giving someone advice on getting into the NFT market, say they were an NFT dummy like myself, what would be the first steps? I've got a background in DeFi. I know what I'm doing over there, so you don't have to go over,
Yeah.
the basics. But where do I start?
For me, the way I started was just looking at all the top blue chip NFTs first, just to understand like the stability side of the market. Meaning like the board apes, the artifacts, the doodles, the cool cats, and all these other ones as well too that have been out for a long time and have big communities, have good volume as well too, and just kind of like just monitor, see the price, see how they grow, see how people are kind of valuing each of those different NFTs as well from the different tiers. Sometimes it's rarity, sometimes it's based on looks only, and or a combination of both, right? And yeah, so that's the first way that I jumped into the game. Just started studying those first and see how people are kind of assigning value to the NFTs across the super top tier 1% tile of those collections, to the different mid tiers, down to like the floor, right? Just understanding that that's the way that I first got into NFTs, just to like understand how the market flows. Once I start looking into that, though, then you start seeing, taking a look at all the brand new releases,
Mhm.
and just see where people are hyping it up, and just go and watch the hype cycle. You don't have to necessarily buy or participate in it, but you can see where people are always hyped up for the pre-reveal whitelist, similar to like an ICO, right? People are going to wait till it's actually revealed, and after that, after there's no development and it's revealed, people might dump it right after as well too. And you see the price changes through that course of all these brand new launches as well too. So right after looking at the blue chips, I would definitely just start taking a look at the brand new tokens and launches that are coming out, and see how the hype and the community really drives up the price or down. And inactive community would mean like no volume as well.
And would you say there's plenty of space to degen in the NFT world?
There is, but I'd
I
say
love
again,
it.
it's a very different game. And when the price of Ethereum collapses, there's a ton of opportunity, especially if people don't update their OpenSea prices, and you're holding a lot of stables. It could be discount season for you to come in and buy stuff before people adjust their prices and the floor to match the original price that they're used to. So that's like a new opportunity there. There's not very many NFTs that produce yield yet, but I do think that that's another new trend that we'll see sometime in Q1, where board
Yep.
apes are going to launch their ape tokens. And so there's going to start introducing DeFi and DAO elements into those, and you'll see kind of a NFT coin season pop off again with these brand new coins.
Very nice. I like it. Was there anything you wanted to plug or add or?
No, for the most part, just happy to share kind of my thoughts, what's going on in the NFT and DeFi side. Really, that's what we're all about with all the events that I'm hosting. And for this coming year, the only thing I got to plug is our own events that we have coming up. We have Decentral Austin that we'll be hosting in June. So it's like our summer version of our events. This one is focused heavily on DAOs and game and metaverses. So we'll have a DAO Summit stage, games and metaverse stage, and that will be in Austin in June. And then we'll be back again in Miami at the end of November as well for Art Basel.
Might have to hit that one up. Any plans to come to San Francisco?
I hope so too. Probably in Q3. We hope to do more stuff in San Francisco, especially just seeing after COVID hit. Like there hasn't been that many events in San Francisco, despite
Yeah, you're not really allowed to do anything here right now.
yeah. So
The city's been dead for 2 years. It's pretty wild.
yeah, so we do want to bring it back, but we'll wait at a good time. There's still a lot of really good people and builders still in San Francisco. As much as I think that Miami is getting hyped, I think there's a little overhype of Miami. I do not believe that the builders are there. I think that the executives and people that are funded and just chilling in Miami, but
Yeah, people would just like to hang out there.
they're hanging out there. And I've seen this
Yeah.
with the whole like LA Silicon Beach hype. I've lived in LA for 8 years, moved in there down from Seattle, and you just still don't get that good firepower engineering from New York, Seattle, or SF, and that's where the real builders are building quietly.
Well, hopefully not so quietly coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah,
I
hopefully
foresee
not.
quite a bit of projects hitting the market this year that are just going to blow everyone's mind,
Yep.
and next year as well. All
Yeah,
right,
I
this
always say we're still so early.
we're still early. We're always early.
Mhm.
All right, man. It was a pleasure having you. I learned a lot. Just want to thank you for coming on and joining us on our little podcast. We're just getting started.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for having me, and yeah, hope to see you guys soon at one of our events. And again, like thanks again for having me on, and everybody else is also welcome.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
All right, thanks.